Hello everyone. Today we are going to start with the second video of chapter 4, that is materials, metals and non-metals. In the previous video we have discussed about the physical properties. Now today we are going to start with the chemical properties of metals and non-metals. So before proceeding with chemical properties, firstly we will discuss about what chemical properties means. Chemical properties are those properties which we observed when a chemical reaction takes place. When a new substance is forming, then the change that occurs are considered as chemical properties. So basically the examples are flammability, toxicity and etc. So in this chemical properties we are going to discuss about the reaction of metals and non-metals with air, reaction of metals and non-metals with water, and reaction of metals with acids and bases. In this video we are going to discuss about only reaction with air and water, and in the next video we will discuss about reaction with acids and bases. So firstly we will start with reaction with air. Air, the major component of air is considered as oxygen. Generally, we know metal reacts with oxygen, and in that case, the most common example of a metal reacting with oxygen is of iron, in which rusting takes place. So, whenever a metal reacts with oxygen, it leads to a formation of a metallic oxide. Metal plus oxygen will lead to formation of a metal oxide, and these metal oxides are having the basic nature. We will get to know about how we will say that the metal oxides are basic in nature. So first example is of rusting of iron. Iron is represented by Fe, and oxygen, that is O2 molecules, and water is also present in air. So these oxygen and water react with iron and leads to the formation of iron oxide, which leads to a reddish brown coating over the iron. So that process is called as rusting. Another example is of a copper vessel. In our home we are having so many copper vessels. If they left open in the presence of moist air, then you observe a dull green coating on their surface. That green coating is just a mixture of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. So copper reacts with water, carbon dioxide is also present, and oxygen is also present. These things reacts together and leads to formation of copper hydroxide and copper carbonate. So now we will take one more example of it, that the magnesium ribbon. We have we are aware of it when magnesium ribbon is allowed to burn. So basically it is reacting with oxygen, because burning does not take place without oxygen. So whenever magnesium ribbon is allowed to burn, a white dazzling flame is produced and some ashes are also produced. That ashes are basically dissolved in water. So magnesium is burnt in air. So magnesium reacts with oxygen, leads to formation of magnesium oxide. That magnesium oxide is white ashes, and we dissolve that white ashes in water. It leads to formation of magnesium hydroxide. Now we will test the nature of the solution, that whether the metal oxides are acidic or basic in nature. So we take this magnesium hydroxide solution and we dip red litmus paper into it. We observe that red litmus turns into blue. From the red color it will get converted into blue color, and if we put blue litmus paper into it, then there is no change observed. So this proves that metallic oxides are basic in nature, as blue color on the litmus paper represents the solution to be as a basic solution. So we conclude that the metallic oxides are basic in nature. Now we will discuss about nonmetals. Nonmetals also react with oxygen and leads to formation of non-metallic oxides. As metal reacts with oxygen leads to formation of metal oxides. Now non-metal reacts with oxygen and leads to formation of a non-metallic oxide. So there is an activity. We will take some amount of sulfur powder in a deflagrating spoon. It's a equipment used in chemistry lab But if you don't have that deflagrating spoon, then you can use a metal cap of some bottle and tie it with a thread. It will work as a deflagrating spoon. Put some amount of sulfur powder in that deflagrating spoon and then heat it. After heating it, put that spoon in a glass tumbler. एक glass tumbler के अंदर heat करने के बाद आप उसको डाल दीजिए. Cover the lid. Don't make it open. Cover it so that the gas does not escape out. Because हमने हीट किया है तो वो जो गैस प्रोड्यूस हुई वो गैस एटमॉस्फेयर में मिक्स ना हो, तो हम उसे ग्लास टम्बलर के अंदर डालेंगे और उसके लिड को कवर कर देंगे सो दैट द गैस विल रिमेन इनसाइड द tumbler. Now, as sulfur reacts with oxygen, it leads to formation of sulfur dioxide. Now, after some time, remove that spoon from the tumbler and add water to the tumbler and shake it well. You will have a solution of it. So, sulfur dioxide reacts with water, leads to formation of sulfurous acid. SO2 plus H2O, that is water, leads to formation of H2SO3, that is sulfurous acid. Now we will test the nature of the non-metallic oxide. Now dip strip of blue and red litmus paper in the solution one by one. Firstly, we will put blue litmus paper. We observe the change in color. It comes out to be as red. Then we will put red litmus paper and there is no change observed. So by this we infer that non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Metallic oxides are basic in nature and non-metallic oxides are acidic in nature. Now we will discuss about reaction with water. We have discussed reaction with oxygen. Now we will discuss about reaction with water. So firstly we will start with metals. We have so many metals, but some metals like sodium and potassium, they are already soft in nature. When they put in water, they react very vigorously. Vigorously means very fastly they will react with water and leads to evolution of high amount of heat. बहुत ज़्यादा अमाउंट में हीट प्रोड्यूस करता है एंड दैट हीट विल गेट कन्वर्ट इनटू फायर. उससे आग भी लग सकती है. कैन इवन लीड टू अ स्मॉल ब्लास्ट. So we can check the nature of this also by dipping blue and red litmus strip in the solution. Blue litmus remains same and the red will get converted into blue. By this we infer that this is basic in nature. Now we will talk about another metal, that is iron. It reacts with water but very slowly and forms rust. Now, as we said that sodium and potassium react very vigorously with water and may lead to fire. So, we can protect them by putting them in kerosene oil bottles. Just because if they react with water, it may lead to a small blast. So, we put them in kerosene oil bottles. Now, we will discuss about non-metals. Non-metals usually don't react with water, but they are reactive in air. Like phosphorus, it reacts vigorously with air, as metals react with water vigorously, but some non-metals like phosphorus reacts vigorously with air. When they are exposed to air, they may catch some fire. Like metal, when are exposed in water, they catch fire. Like similarly, the phosphorus non-metal will catch fire when it is exposed to air. I hope this one is clear to you, and we will have a review of it again by comparison of metals and non-metals on the basis of chemical properties. So firstly, with reaction with air, it produces metal oxide, non-metal produces non-metal oxide. It will give blue color on litmus paper, non-metal gives red color on litmus paper. This shows that metal oxides are basic in nature and non-metal oxides are acidic in nature. And one extra point in non-metals, that phosphorus, a non-metal, reacts very vigorously in air and may lead to fire. Now we will discuss about reaction with water. When metals are react with water, they produces metal hydroxide, but non-metals do not react with water. A special case is that sodium and potassium reacts very vigorously with water and may lead to fire. That's why they are stored under kerosene oil bottles. And when we talk about iron, it reacts slowly with water. Similarly, in non-metals, as we stated, phosphorus reacts vigorously in air. So we store this phosphorus into water to prevent from fire. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching.